What's up, my pebbles and gems and stones? I decided today we're doing a Q&A because I missed a vlog today. And yes, I'm filming this at 11 p.m. But as soon as I'm done shooting, I will edit it, upload it tonight. That way you have at least this Q&A video tonight. And tomorrow you have a brand new vlog for what I did today. I asked you guys in Discord and on Instagram what questions you would have for me if I did do a Q&A. And you guys came through with some pretty good questions. So I'm going to go ahead and read them. I'm not going to name who said what, but if you ask me the question and you see the question, chances are it was yours or multiple people asked me. Number one from Discord is, what inspired you to start music? This is a great question because I haven't talked about this a ton, but when I was really young, my dad would actually play guitar and sing for the church. I would basically watch him doing it, and it was super inspiring to me growing up. So apparently when I was about 2 years old, I would try to play the guitar while it was sitting on the stand. I would try to figure out how he was doing it. About 8 years old, I was put into guitar lessons until about 12 or 11 years old, and then I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, took a hiatus for about 2 years, and then started guitar lessons again around 13 or 14 years old. And I've always loved it. I only did it till about 18 total, but I've always loved music, and then I started writing songs at about 13. But to me, I just loved the escape that music would give me, so I wanted to be able to create that same escape for others. And I knew that if I could make art that helped others feel less alone, then I was successful. Like, that was my whole goal. Next question is, what word would you describe yourself as? And I would say driven, because I am one to never give up. I know that as soon as I quit is when I fail. So as long as I keep getting back up, I'm destined to make it. Number 3, who is my favorite music artist? Bro, Jon Bellion is absolute number 1 for me. He's one of the dopest artists to me in the world. Been listening to him since I was 14 years old. He inspires a lot of my music. I just love everything he does as a human being. If I ever get the chance to work with Jon Bellion, I'm taking it 1 million times over. I forgot what number we're at, so I'm just gonna keep going until I'm done. Next question, any plans for Where Is Up in the future? That's a great question. I have so many plans for Where Is Up. I have honestly endless ideas, and that's the reason why I started the clothing brand, because I literally can come up with endless ideas for clothing, for creative drops, for different products, and I love painting. I love creating in general. I have like an entire series list in my head of different ideas that we could basically create and post and release, and I have 10 seasons straight of entire drops listed and categorized in my head. So yes, big plan for Where Is Up. Just slowly but surely trusting in God's timing that all of it will come to fruition. Ooh, next question is, will gaming streams come back in the summer? I would love for gaming streams to come back at some point. I know you guys miss the gaming streams. I miss playing video games with my boys, but I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna have to see. I would love for them to come back soon. I know that I would love to find the time, and maybe even if it's like once a week or like twice a week minimum, that would be cool. I could see that happening, but trying to get back to like the every single day streams, I do not think is possible. However, once a week, I could see a stream happening. Keep your eyes peeled. What is my favorite unreleased song? Dude, honestly, my favorite unreleased song is one I just made last night. It's really fun. I produced the entire thing by myself. I didn't expect to do it. I actually teased it in the last vlog. I was just producing and like started adding like weird sound, and it came to be like a really cool song. Next question is, what's one of your favorite places that you've ever been? And I would say Hawaii, because I love Hawaii. I was only there for about 2 weeks and I fell in love, and I've honestly only ever been to like 15 states, so I haven't really traveled a ton. I've traveled a lot, but just back and forth to certain states. But hopefully soon I will be traveling a lot more. Ooh, great question. It says, will you lock in on the Tigers and Dragons TikTok soon? I feel like you and Alex's skits are so hilarious, and it could be a duo account, and you add your videos with Simba when you get the chance to see him. That's so funny because me and Alex were actually talking about that literally last night. We were thinking about making our own podcast version on that channel, where it's just us two mic'd up with these little mics. So we're not gonna be using any professional mics, but we're just gonna be using the nice little mics that I have, and we're gonna be sitting like on the couch or like in the forest or in the car or wherever we can, and just doing the Dragon's Lair podcast is what we're thinking about calling it, and having those come out pretty soon, and I think that'll be super fun. So we can definitely count on seeing Tigers and Dragons content. Also, apparently Simba moves back to Greenville in September, so the Tigers and Dragons will be back together soon. Next question is, what did I do before music? And that's a great question. Honestly, I've always done music since I was really young, like I said earlier. Before music, I actually thought that I was going to be a professional skateboarder. That was 100% my goal. I was super inspired by like Tony Hawk and Rob Dyrdek and people like that, and I wanted to be a professional skateboarder. And then my parents told me that that was probably unrealistic and that I would be homeless if I tried, and so I kind of gave up, and I was like, you know what, whatever. Next thing, music. I love music, and so I stuck with that. This is a great question from you guys, saying, what are the pros and cons of everything you do? Now that's a very generic question, but I will answer it by saying I love what I do. I love being a multifaceted artist. I have so much fun just trying things and, putting ideas to the wall, seeing what sticks, and just creating in all avenues. I would say the biggest pro of that is that, again, I get to just live like a child. My life feels like a dream, that I get to do whatever I want and create cool things, and God allows me to just effortlessly create things sometimes, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but it always turns out to be something cool. I'd say one of the biggest cons is that it's the hardest thing in the world, is trying to make a career out of something that almost everyone around me and everyone that I've ever known says is impossible. Some people say you can't do fashion and music and acting and content and own a business and all these things, and they have their own worldly aspects or opinions or worldviews that they put on me as truth, and I don't believe it. I don't align with that. I'd say that's probably one of the hardest things, is that as fun as it is, as amazing as the opportunity is to do what I love, a lot of people feel the need to tell me what they think about my career. If I could only choose one of the careers that I am pursuing, which one would I choose? To be honest with you, I'd probably say music. I love music the most. I would still design clothes and still make clothes regardless, but I love music so much. It's my everything. But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's really almost impossible for me to pick because I've become so involved in all of them. I actually really, really enjoy the feeling of knowing that my clothing brand could do really, 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 really well, and it relieves a lot of the stress of feeling like my music has to do really, really well. The music is such a personal, emotional thing for me that if it doesn't do well, I start to attack myself. I start to be why I suck. But with the clothing, it's people like it or people don't, and it's a physical product that can make money. And so if I can sell a physical product that makes money and my bills are covered, then I can release technically whatever I want. I can just make music whenever I want, whatever I want, and release it as I want to, and let it be more authentic rather than some of the songs I was releasing before, like Drive, which felt like it would just be a cool pop song. You know what I mean? What's your favorite part about being able to help people through their insane struggles they feel they can't get through? Music was there when I had nobody else, and so if I could be that for other people, whether it be the music or the art or the clothing or the videos, and I can have that thing that helps people, that means so much to me, because I didn't have that a lot. I would look for that in certain creators. I'd have that scattered around, but if I could be a one-stop shop for people, I feel like that's really, really important to me, and it makes me really happy because I know that there's not a lot of help for people who struggle. You know what I mean? A lot of people tell you just be a man or rub some dirt on it or whatever the case is, or that people have their opinions and their things, or they act like they care, but they might not actually. But coming from someone who truly has been through a lot and seen a lot and made it through it, I want to be the one that tells you that you can make it through it and you can get better. It makes me happy. It makes me happy seeing that you guys progress as people, watching my content and listening to my music. This question was asked 5 different times in 5 different ways, but I'm going to respond to this one saying, why are you always so kind to people? The truth is, kind of like what I said earlier, is that I know what it feels like to have people not be nice to you. I know what it feels like to be treated like garbage. I know what it feels like to have your name dragged through the mud. I know what it feels like to be seen as nothing and told you are nothing and told that you will not make it. And so my goal as a human being is to make sure that no one around me ever, ever, ever goes through that or feels that way at any point. And so I work really hard to make sure that I can provide that light that people need. Next question is, what kind of life do you see yourself living in your 40s? Which is a great question. And I would say basically just a cooler version of what I'm doing now. I would love to travel the world and do some world tours and some stadium shows and sold out shows, and have my clothing brand business have different shops all around the world, and be able to just travel and live freely, just being able to create movies. I want to write, direct, and act in my own movies. I want to do so much. I want to write films and just sell them off. I want to just have my hands in every creative field and really change the world in terms of art and media and entertainment, because so much of what's being made right now is very evil. I want to create a very, very positive and uplifting, form of art and entertainment to the world and be the light that the world needs. And my last question is, what is your goal? And my goal, though this might sound insane, is to be one of the biggest artists in the entire world. And not only the biggest artist, but the biggest writer and director and actor and clothing brand owner and creator, content creator, musician, producer, everything. I want to be one of the biggest names in the world, and not because of my own glory, because of my own sense, but again, I know what it feels like to be written out and discounted and told I was going to be nothing. And if I can make it from there to one of the biggest names in the world and be one of the biggest people in the world, not only can I show that it's possible to make it out of that, to make it through it, and that you can be anything you dream, but also that everything that I have is God-given, and I'm not using any of my talents to do evil things. I'm not using any of my abilities to pursue a life of evil that so many of the other artists in the world do. But I want to use every single bit of success and fame and money and wealth that I acquire to give back to every single person around me. I want to make sure that no one around me has to struggle. And if I see anybody struggling, that I can immediately fix it or immediately help them or provide help. I want to open animal sanctuaries that rescue animals that have been misplaced or lost or abused or displaced through wildfires or whatever the case is, and giving them actual proper care and allowing people to come and actually visit these animals and see them in their natural environments and not in a small cage, but you might get to see him if he's roaming around and we feed him over here, so he might come over here, but the bears get to roam in this huge land and have a huge plot of land that we get to have this animal sanctuary at. On top of that, I want to create a foundation that helps addicts and homeless and veterans, people who struggle, to just give them a purpose in life and get them back on their feet and get them reintegrated in society and just let them know that their life isn't over. And even using my animal sanctuary as a place that they can volunteer at, helping out. I think that would be a super fun way to kind of do both, And even more, my mom has dreams to open up a foundation that helps kids that have been trafficked and abused, and I want to be able to help her with that and fund her dreams to do that endlessly. And in short, again, I want to change the world. So thank you so much for watching this Q&A. This was my first one ever. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless. Peace.